Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. My name is DJ, back with another personal golf spotlight. We've been doing a couple of these episodes. We did one with Neil, we did one with Tron, kind of just going around interviewing a couple members of the team and kind of talking about our own golf games a little bit. We figured the best way to do this is to put one person under the bright lights and really go spelunking into their psyche. And here to cave dive with me is my guy, Big Randy. Randy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Deej. Excited to examine our subject today. Let's let's go deep where it's dark and there might not be much oxygen.
Well, if you watch a lot of our YouTube channel, our guest needs no introduction. He's the winner of our NLU Club Championship. He beat the absolute shit out of Solly at the new course last year at St. Andrews. That's of course our guy Ben Hollywood Hotaling. Ben, greetings, hi, hello, how are you?
Hey, doing fantastic. Pod couldn't have came at a better time. I'm desperately looking for a pod bump, given Solly's, experience at the Creator Classic. I need to maintain my position up here, so this is perfect timing. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime. Well, yeah, a lot of the listeners, like I said, if you watch YouTube, you're probably familiar with Ben's game. He nukes the ball. He's a very good player, plus handicap. If you listen to the podcast, you're probably not very familiar with Ben or his story or his golf game, which is kind of why we wanted to do this. So, Ben, why don't we kick it off with just a little introduction? Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do at NLU? Let's just level set there.
Yeah, great. So,
Two truths and a lie.
name's Ben Hotaling. I live in Kansas City. I've been with No Laying Up, working behind the scenes, just shy of 5 years this June. It's been a dream come true. So, been a golf sicko for a long time. Played since I was 3 or 4 years old, and I just truly love the game, Deej.
I love it. Well, let's do a little bit of business here on the front end. Level set for the people. Your golf game a little bit. What's your current handicap? What's your current ball speed? And then, as always, we're brought to you by our friends at Titleist. So I want to ask you a couple Titleist FootJoy questions as well. But let's
Of
start with the
course.
easy ones. Randy, I'm
And
sorry.
let me just Ben, if you could throw in what's your competitive golf experience?
Okay.
Did you play
Yeah.
high school golf, college golf? Give the people a sense of that as well.
Right. Yeah. So handicap currently right now, Jin says plus 1.1, down a little bit. I've been as low as high, however you want to call it, as a plus 2.6. Driver's the best club in my bag. Ball speed on course is kind of between 176 and 178. The Neil Sturden ball, I can get up over 180. So that's kind of where I make hay. But I'm trying to be a little bit more of a well-rounded player. I think my wedge game at times has been, elite. And I'd like to get back to that spot. I'm sure we'll get to it later, but there's a reason why it was good at one point in time. I will say, after I got into the new Titleist T100 irons, I've just become like a ball striking junkie. I'm just dying to hit, yeah, hit the middle of the club face as much as possible and enjoy. I love to go practice. That's like my whole thing, and how I've gotten better over the last 3 or 4 years is just going out over a long lunch and just hitting irons off of whatever I can find. That's kind of my game in a nutshell.
On
People
that note, what I think is funny, Randy, I'm sure we'll get a kick out of this. Ben, I asked you one time, what's your go-to swing thought when we were at the homestead? Do you remember that? And do you remember what you said?
I don't remember
Because it
this.
was a seminal moment for me. You're like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. I just, like, flush it."
See
I
the
Yeah,
ball, hit the
I
ball.
was like, "Oh, okay." Oh, okay. So you don't have, like, just 50 things in your head that you're trying to remember? Like, "No, I don't know. I just flush it, man. I don't know."
no,
That's
thanks for reminding
Hit
me,
it
because
in the center.
that's very much still my swing thought when I get up to it, as opposed to TC calling himself all the expletives. I just say, go flush this one. That's my entire mission.
I know that closely aligns with how Randy attacks the game as well. Just absolutely go out there and grab it, wrestle it to the ground.
I too love to just practice irons anywhere I can. It's just more mental reps for me.
Right.
Ben, what's in the bag? What is a player of your caliber, your speed? What are you gaming these days?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I've got a somewhat interesting bag. At the top of the bag, I have GT3 11-degree driver. The 11 degree was definitely news to me when getting fit. At the ball speed, you'd think like, oh, push it down to 8, 7. Absolutely not. I did have a 9-degree driver in the past, and the ball actually wasn't spinning enough. So it would just fall out of the air.
I was
So
gonna
you'd have
say you
the
can hit those. They're not necessarily quackers, but they get out of the air. They look like they get shot out of the air. It's
yes.
leave the club at 182 and just they fly. 250. It's a very strange dynamic you had going there for a while.
Yeah, so that was very odd. Yeah, like you said, it's like, low 180s, but it would carry 280 when I like crushed it. And it just like that doesn't add up. So, getting fit and whatnot got me into that 11 degree, which added a little bit of spin, kept the ball in the air longer, and has massively changed my ability to drive the golf ball. I come in pretty flat, so like 0-0 at impact with driver. So because of that, the spin can be, pretty much nothing with a low spin driver. So I needed to get a little bit more loft, a little bit more spin, keep that ball in the air. And then I go to a 5 wood, GT2 5 wood, 18 degrees. Reason I went that, I had a 3 wood last year, but it was just like straight up. It sounds bad. It's too long, like not useful. You hit
Mhm.
a 300-yard drive, and I just don't play too many, 600+ yard par fives. So like, there's no point in having that club. So we went ahead and went with a 5 wood for that second one. Then I have the 7 wood, which I know is a cult classic,
Hot in the
cult
streets right
favorite.
now.
Yeah, that's great. So that's just like my floaty attacking, par fives or short
Mhm.
par four type of club. I know, Randy, you're familiar with those
Yeah,
140-foot apexes.
getting after it.
Yeah, and then from there, right now I have the U-boat U505 4 iron driving iron. That's like my go-to club. That's what won the club championship for me at Aaron Hills. Just hitting it all over the place. So I love that thing. I can flight it low. I can hit it really high. It's a fun club. It feels like I'm cheating, to be honest with you.
What's a stock shot with that? Just stock apex, stock carry, stock run out type of. What are
Yeah,
you looking
stock
to do?
shot with that 90-foot apex, 240 carry, 260 total. It's awesome. I mean, it's a 4 iron, but it's
Deej,
really
we'd
like a
sign up for that off
For
the tee every time,
sure.
I think.
For sure. Absolutely.
it says 4 iron, but like it's super strong. So it's probably more like a 3+ iron there. And then yeah, I only have 5 irons in the bag, which is kind of
So
interesting.
sick.
Besides my driving iron. So I go 5 to 9 iron, and that's a T100. Everything's stock, little upright, but everything else is pretty stock there. Love my T100s. They're fantastic. Like truly take them out of my cold dead hands. Then I go 46-degree pitching wedge with Vokey SM10, 50-degree gap wedge, 54 sand wedge, and 58 lob wedge. So I play a little bit more bounce than the rest of the group does. So I'm in a lot of the F and S grind on the wedges, which, I don't know. First thing I ever got fit into, did the blind test, here, don't look, go ahead and hit this. And I just love them, and I just can't get me out of them. So that's it. And then putter, everyone's favorite club of mine. Everybody thinks I hit like massive sweeping hook putts, which, I've got data to
Like
back up that I
Ben
do not.
Hogan. Ben Hogan with the putter.
Right. Is the Phantom 7.5. So love that thing. My first ever like true mallet. And again, not interested in changing.
I want to ask too, just again, shout out to our friends at FootJoy. You're a bit of a shoe guy. What's your go-to, one pair of shoes every day for the rest of your life? What do you think you're going with?
Yeah, every day, rest of your life, no question. Premier Series Wilcox, the white lizard. I just think they go with everything, and I love them without a doubt. My go-to shoe every day of the week.
With the high socks, of course.
Of course, of course. I am going to try this year. I'm going to try the quarter length. I saw Raj at
Mm.
the Creator
Mm.
Classic. They're not super high, but they're definitely not like ankle socks. I was like, damn, that looks interesting. So I'm going to try that this year.
Be on the lookout for that, folks, on the YouTube channel. Randy, where do you want to take it first, my man?
Well, let's get into Ben's golfing history. Ben, I had asked you to talk about your competitive experience, but maybe this is a
Oh,
better place for it. How did you get into the game? Earliest golfing memory, and then talk to me about any competitive experience that you've had in your life.
yeah, definitely. So I got into the game, super, super young, but I wouldn't say it was like my sport when I was that young. So my grandparents, they had, a couple acres in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina area. And I would go into the garage, and my grandma's clubs would always just be hanging there. I mean, we're talking like, real old, real small headed golf clubs. And I just remember going out there and like trying to hit it over the shed in the backyard. That was the entire goal. I didn't live in North Carolina for much of the time growing up. So we'd go back every year, every summer to visit. And it was always like, can I get it over the shed this year? And just got to the point where like, we're hitting it over the trees, over the shed. It's like, hey, you need to stop. You're going to hit the neighbor's house. So once we got to that point, I'd actually just recently moved to Lanesboro, Massachusetts, which is up kind of near Taconic. That would have been our nearest nice golf course in upstate, I guess. I don't know, western,
Yeah, up
northwestern
Western
Mass.
Mass, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a friend that lived right across the street. We all lived on like significant amount of property. I mean, at least a couple acres. Some neighbors had, significantly more. But he lived on top of a big hill and would just be hitting golf balls down the hill. And naturally got to know him, and that's what we did. And that was kind of my first time like building golf courses or playing, backyard golf. We would, he had this area that he took all the grass off of in the front yard, all down to dirt, and would create a putting green, and you'd hit past this screen and then chip back onto it and putt. And that was just like what we did. And that was like summer activity. Loved it. Just played all the time. And then we actually had a older neighbor down the street that saw us playing, and he played in high school and would start. He could drive, so he'd like bring us out to courses and stuff, and played at a place called Skyline in Lanesboro, Massachusetts. No idea if it still exists. Hopefully, but one of those great places where it's like, my parents, I think they paid like $120, and it's like all year long, all summer, go nuts, full membership at this public course. And that's kind of what we did. So that was how I started. At that point, I tried to play a little bit of competitive golf. I think that was like the next step. Always played a ton of sports, and this was like opportunity to go in and, try to play tournament golf. Did not go well. I was a massive head case. Could not, bring it to the course. I specifically
What does
remember,
that mean? What would go wrong?
oh, everything that you could imagine, right? Like, you hit a bad shot and like I'm turning around, Thor hammer into the trees with my clubs. That it was bad for a long time. Bad enough that like my parents were like, yeah, we should probably go to sports psychologist at some point. Because I truly just like
Get
could
you to
not.
just chill a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. It was bad. Yeah, I it's bleak, but like glad I went through that, Still got that fire, but I have to like, keep it tampered down. So yeah, I specifically remember one time, one of my first tournaments was supposed to be at Bethpage Black, and just rained out, wasn't able to go.
Couldn't get a tee
And
time. All the bots took all the tee times.
yeah, exactly. And it was played at a different course, but it was so wet that like if you hit any grass before, it would just totally roll the sod over. So there was this one kid that I played with, and it was the second day, and I played so bad the first day. I was in like the worst group, whatever that was, and I was watching this kid play, and he was just yelling, "Oh, I flubbed it!" all over the golf course. And I was like, I cannot. There's no way that like I play like this kid. And I just got so mad. I was just like, I'm never doing it again. I'm not playing competitive golf ever again. I'm done. It's over. So I didn't play for like a long time, competitively at least. Would play in the backyard still, but wouldn't play competitively. And then I moved to Connecticut and got to in middle school. Had a really incredible opportunity. There's this new golf course called Lake of Isles, which is associated with the Foxwoods Casino in southern Connecticut. And I lived in Preston, Connecticut, which was kind of right down the street. And this golf course was opening. It was a 36-hole facility, had a private facility and then a public facility, and they were doing something for the kids. So every age group they were doing a call it a scholarship, I guess, where they would you'd come in, you would do a range session, kind of like I don't know, like a combine, I guess, where you'd go through all the different skills, and the people at the resort or course, I guess, would watch you, the pros. And then we went out and did a 9-hole like tournament, and actually came in and did like formal interviews, like suit and tie, whole deal. And I got selected to be a part of that, which was awesome. So I was in the youngest age group, but it basically gave me full access to the facilities and weekly lessons with their pro for for the whole summer. So I just lived there. I just lived at
I've
that
never
golf course.
I've never heard of anything like that. Just like a scholarship, basically, just like a golf scholarship without
Yeah,
any school associated.
no,
Uh,
none, no,
That's
not at all. And it
that's
was just like
wild.
all the southeastern Connecticut, whatever they would call like best or up and coming players of different age groups. So, it was like me and some other, 12-year-old girl who actually like went on to like do stuff in golf. So good for her. And yeah, and then just like every age group from there, there was somebody associated with it. So that was truly when it's like, okay, now I'm playing golf and playing competitively. Still, still struggled with the mental side. The big tournament at the end of the year, end of the scholarship, I ended up, finding a ball that like I shouldn't have, if that makes sense, and like made a 10 because I was like trying to hit this ball out of this, out of this creek for forever. And again, was just like, why am I doing this? I hate this so much. Yeah. So that got me through to high school. And then, yeah, I played all throughout high school, played 2 years in Connecticut. And then I moved to Wichita, Kansas, midway through my junior year of high school. Shout out to my parents on that one. It's a tough time to go, but best thing that's ever happened to me. So that was worthwhile. Yeah, came to Wichita, had never played in wind before. It's blowing 45 in the spring, trying to play competitive golf. And like I was decent. I was okay. Enough where I played, 2 on the varsity team and made state on my own, as well as with the team. So, had a little bit of success, but again, it was more just like kind of I just wasn't quite there, wasn't sharp.
People probably know you, if they do know you, from Bruff Creek stuff,
Yeah.
you kind of became golf Twitter famous there as you guys were building your own course in Kansas City. Just give people an overview of what that is if they're not familiar, and then I definitely got a couple questions about that.
Yeah. So Brough Creek National, BCN for shorthand, is a 7-hole golf course in Kansas City, Kansas, right on the Missouri River Bluffs. It is located at my friend Zach Bruff's family home that they've owned since the 80s. It's a little, 3.5 acre property with a meandering creek through the middle. And we built, by hand with truly like with shovels, a little 7-hole golf course with 6 greens and 7 tee boxes. And the concept was kind of based on a couple different things, one being Sweetens Cove with the concept of like Illuminati routings, or just open play, as well as the horse course at the Prairie Club. It was the first ever golf trip I went on with my dad to the Prairie Club in Valentine, Nebraska. They had a par 3 course. I believe it's a Gil Hanse. And the whole concept was like, it's a big field and you can put the ball down wherever you want and hit to whatever green, call your shot, and play horse. And I just thought that was like so brilliant, and wanted to replicate that. And yeah, we ended up building Brough Creek National. We were deep on the refuge, the No Laying Up refuge, kind of share in progress, and people loved it. People loved getting the updates after every weekend, and would support. They would send us equipment that we needed, or cash for donations, and just continued to snowball. And we ended up like actually pulling it off, and I thought it was ended up being a pretty cool project.
How did it
Well,
actually get started,
yeah.
though? Like, what was the actual, like, kinda inspiration for, one day there was no golf course, and then eventually there was a golf course. So why did that take place?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, like a lot of boredom, but also just like massive inspiration. Yeah, I'd been consuming golf content, no laying up, fried egg as well, learning about golf in a whole different light. Always just kind of considered it or figured it to be competitive golf. That's like the only element. And then once, you guys and some others in the space had expressed that, hey, this is supposed to be fun. That's why we do it. That was like a light bulb moment for me. And at that point, I've always like been an outdoors person and built stuff, and a lot of dirt bike jumps and stuff like that back in the day. And I've always had a place to like hit balls in the backyard. My dad built me an awesome green in Massachusetts in the backyard with a net, something similar in Connecticut as well. And I had moved in with Zach into this property after college, and he had this land, and I wanted to play but didn't have any money. And I asked him if I could take down one tree. So he said fine. I did, and just had a good time, like cutting the grass and making a little hole and doing all that, and that was great. And then I kind of shared like, oh, this would be cool if we like got across the creek and took down some more trees, and made it like a little wedge range. So I posted that on the refuge, and again, people loved it. And then it just continued to evolve. took up all of my mental energy and time. And yeah, we just kind of like did it. I don't know how else to explain it. There wasn't a moment that was like, why are we doing this? What's the point? It was kind of like, this is cool. People like this. I'm enjoying this. So let's keep going. And we did. And we got all the way through to the end.
What was it like when word started getting out beyond maybe just the refuge and more to Twitter, and you're starting to get some visitors from all over the country, maybe even from different parts of the world, and more notoriety. What was that like for you?
I mean, a whirlwind, like, definitely did not expect it. Was kind of hopeful that that could be the case. I mean, always in the back of my mind, it was like, I hate what I'm doing at work right now. Like, I'd love to work in golf. Maybe this is gonna like be the way to get my name out there, or somehow this is gonna turn into something, either my own business or someone's gonna be interested in learning more about me. So like that was kind of the whole thing, and I was really hopeful that it was gonna elevate like the rest of my guys as well. It's kind of one of those opportunities. I have a friend that does music. It's like, hey, people are like watching some of these videos. Like, here's an opportunity to do it. So it's like this internal motivation of like getting other people opportunities as well as myself to get out there and kind of be known and hopefully get swooped up and taken to that next level into something that I actually loved. So that was kind of the driving force, more so than wanting to get this project out there. Because to be honest with you, Randy, it was kind of tough getting calls and texts from Zach like, hey dude, like there's this random person just pulled up into the driveway, any idea who that might be? um so that was maybe putting the address on Google was a really stupid idea.
No, no, don't worry about that guy. It's just the guy that found your address on Twitter. Like, he's cool. What was that? What else was going on in your life? Because I always am fascinated by. It seems like BCN was like quite an escape from kind of what else was going on.
It was the only thing, that and growing my relationship with my now wife was the only thing that mattered to me at that point. I was working in tech sales in the recruiting and consulting space. I hated it. I still have nightmares of it. Like I 100% people have nightmares about like, taking tests in school. I have nightmares about like going into that facility. It was the worst. Like I was sold a bill of goods that it was going to be this great opportunity. You can make your own paycheck, like get after it. And it was not that. There was nothing. There was no opportunity as a fledgling company. And I was kind of put in a bad spot, had a bad owner and boss that was just straight up not a nice person. And that just was tough. So it really ground on me. So yeah, I would go in and I would bang phones for 2.5 hours, from 8 to 10:30, and then I would truly not work anymore and just work on BCN stuff and social media stuff while at work. So it was the only thing I did, and truly is the only motivation why like I didn't quit or get fired earlier. It's because like without the BCN stuff, I truly don't know if I would have done anything. Massive waste of time.
What's the hardest day that sticks out in your head from construction? What was the biggest like, oh shit, we're in over our heads type of moment?
Yeah, I mean, a couple come to mind right away. First off, like once you look at the pile of trees that we had to burn, I mean, it was probably, three semi trucks like lined up next to each other of like hardwood large logs. And it's like, oh, we got to burn all this. Like somebody might notice. Like this is going to be crazy. So that was interesting. But the hardest day by far was sod day. Realistically, you have between 24 and 36 hours to get the sod down and watered once it's delivered, or it's going to die, and you can't do anything about it. This was our biggest expense, the thing that we worked very hard to raise money for. It was just an absolute all day bender, nonstop. Probably 17 hours straight. Had neighbors coming out of the woodworks, friends coming out to like lift this sod and put it on this golf course. It's about 13,500 square feet of sod. Might not sound like a ton, but man, when you're doing it by a meter square every time, it takes a long time. It's a lot of Legos to put together to make those greens work. It's heavy too. So yeah, just like totally scraped up. Everyone's dehydrated through like multiple shirts and pants. It was just a really long, really difficult, really trying day. And then the worst part was like we were trying to do it with sprinklers from a hose, the watering, no irrigation. So we'd do all that, and then we'd go look, and it's like this little sprinkler trying to wet the sod that we're like desperately trying to keep alive. one sprinkler at a time. So yeah, that was a tough day. That was a very challenging physically, but also, also mentally, to make sure, like, did we just really overestimate what we're going to be able to accomplish here?
But you rocked them.
Rocked them. It worked. I don't know how. Still to this day, I don't know how the hell it worked.
Well, speaking of today, what's the current status with BCN?
Yeah, great question. So I think BCN is in a place where it was always intended to be. And what I mean by that was it was built with the concept of being able to turn it on and off at any moment. We knew that this wasn't going to be, a public facility, something that was going to make money. We always wanted it to be, free to play, or if you, so choose to donate, that's fantastic. But we also knew that, like, life's going to go on. So right now, I would say it's in a dormant phase. It exists. It's alive. It works. If you gave me, 10 days, I could have it back up and running. But managing it like the U.S. Open is going to be played out there like we did for the first 2.5, 3 years, just not sustainable. So yeah, I wouldn't be like, hey, go out there. It's going to be the best you've ever seen it. But it's one of those things. We built it with the intent of, hey, we know that this is going to slow down. And, at any moment, if we want to have, our guys out, or if, the Piper High School wants to come practice, like, give us a week and we can turn it back on, and it'll be worth it.
How many aces out there?
Ooh, that's a great question. I know of 4, including yours, Deej, I know is a little touchy.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
that
would count it.
was an I would count it as well. I think it's, it's a good story if nothing else. But you have any
Yes,
out there? That's more what I was asking about.
I do. I have one, same hole, same everything, same as yours. I was
Okay,
actually talking
baby.
on the phone when I made it, which was it's just a memorable thing. I was just kind of like walking around and hit one, and I was
Oh.
talking on headphones. And it's like, oh shit, I just made a hole in one. Cool.
Talking to your old boss, probably.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, I want to shift gears a little bit. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to the Nest, our own Nest, the Nest, No Laying Up's community of avid golfers. When you join the Nest, you support all of our NLU content, from Strapped to KVV's deep dives, special projects, the Refuge, where this whole beautiful golf course kind of was born out of. Those are the kinds of things you're supporting when you support the Nest. You also unlock access to our Nest exclusive content, which includes the monthly Nest podcast, extra videos, which Ben works very hard on producing, and every thread on our Refuge message board. And on top of the content, you get 15% off every order in the NLU Pro Shop, and early access to merch drops. This week, you get your hands on our spring NLU and Roback collection before it goes live to everyone on March 21st. Ben also started in the Pro Shop doing stuff like that when he first started. So he knows how fast the Roback stuff goes. It's an absolute feeding frenzy
Flies.
when the Roback stuff goes up. So join the Nest if you want a little early access to that. Head over to nolayingup.com/join to get involved and join the Nest. Big guy, where should we go? Let's shift gears.
You want to get more into let's get more into Ben's coming of age with golf and golf courses. So Ben, I imagine maybe before Brough Creek National was really getting up and going, what was the biggest like light bulb moment for you as far as like seeing a course, playing a course, experiencing a course? Like, do you remember a specific moment, and what might that have taught you?
Yeah, honestly, like my moment was probably more like virtual than anything else.
GL
Again, I got
when he saw the spear.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. But like podcasts, when I got into the podcast space, and it was like starting to, I've always had like a very visual mind. Like I just kind of see pictures in my head. So like when I would listen to people talk about golf courses, or you guys get back and discussing, Torah sauce trips, or, Torah sauce itself, right? It's like I was starting to understand that there are more dynamics than just like see ball, hit ball down fairway, hit on green. That was like a huge moment for me. That was kind of the light bulb of like, wow, this is so much more dynamic and interesting than I ever thought it could be, and you can enjoy it in many different ways. And I think I always like philosophize or philosophy, whatever. I always considered that concept as being true, but then when I finally got to see it at 2 specific places that stand out. So the Prairie Club, again, that was my first ever golf trip that I went on with my dad. I finally saw scale for the first time, just massive, massive scale. And that was like, oh, wow. Okay. This is like super fun, interesting. My dad can play it, no problem. That was a great, great light bulb for me. And then second, I was lucky enough to get invited to Prairie Dunes again, thanks to like BCN stuff. Shout out Ben Lippold if you're listening, for bringing me to Prairie Dunes, and that was like okay, I understand what like a real championship golf course with firm greens, firm conditions, demanding play looks like. So those were kind of the two big ones for me in that growth and development of loving and learning about golf courses.
Has your game evolved at all as you've kind of learned more about golf courses? Like, have you? Do you know what I mean? Like, have you become more of a shot maker or anything like that, or have you kind of just focused on playing one way your whole life?
No, definitely has changed. I think I've learned a lot more about how to score in that like it truly like the only thing that brought me satisfaction through high school was like knowing that I was the longest player in my group. That was it. That was my whole deal. If I wasn't, then I was upset. And now it's like, okay, that's a tool, but like that's not the whole story. Now I get a lot of joy out of making putts in people's faces.
Well, what I mean, as far as your golf game now, like what's missing? We always like to ask, if you could ask the genie for one thing in your golf game, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it would be a go-to shot off the tee with driver, and second to that, like long irons. Those two things definitely need work. I'm not up to snuff with those two things, especially approaching the green. So would love a little bit more elevation on that 5 iron and more consistency in the middle of that face, Mr. Genie.
What do you mean on the driver side? What is like? Do you mean you want I want a low cut that I can rely on,
Yes,
or are you saying like
absolutely.
you don't know what you're gonna hit when you walk up to each tee?
No, I think right now I've got one speed and that's all the way. With driver, I would love to have like a low cutter as opposed to a towering draw. That doesn't play all the time. Just that kind of anxiety that you get of like, hey man, like tight. Like I really need this one. I need to be able to approach the green on the next shot. I don't have that with driver. Like I could lay back, but also it's like I'm not a super great long iron player, and my advantage is distance. So I want to push it down as far as I can. So if I had like a little, squeezer hot cut with the driver, I would love to be able to play that on command.
Okay, let me ask. I think this is a good time for it. As you think about golf and your golf game, do you consider yourself more artist or mechanic?
Oh, as sweet as it would say to, want to be more artist, I think like I've been training to be more of a mechanic. So I think like, gosh, I don't know. That's a really tough one. I feel kind of stuck in the middle because like again, like when I practice, I'm practicing all the shots, all night windows. Like that's like what I do when I go out and practice. But like I don't really do that on the course. I kind of just like want to hit like my shot, which is, ideally just a falling left high draw. So I don't know, probably more mechanic if you had to, put my feet to the fire. Though I would love to be an artist.
Well, we did a video with you and your coach Maureen Farrell last year, which was awesome. It's one of my favorite kind of instructional type videos we do because she was just very clear at illustrating concepts and demonstrating how to how to do different things. I'm curious if you could just talk about the process of, is that the first like real consistent coach you've had, and if so, what has that experience been like? I mean, where did you start and where are you at now, and how has it kind of evolved?
Yeah, absolutely. So Maureen is definitely my first like consistent coach. Really first consistent golf, anything that I've had in my life. So it's been amazing being with her because she's like super invested in like my success, which is great. And that's why wanted to do that video with her because she's just like very plugged in, which is awesome. It has dramatically changed things on many fronts because like the first time that I ever went in and saw her, it's just like the most standard stuff: alignment, where's your club head facing, how do you look at the pin, that just basic stuff.
Oh,
And that
interesting. I never thought about that stuff. That's a great note, Maureen. Which is how
yeah,
I
no,
always
but I
feel
was
when I
like
go to
I
a lesson.
was
They're like, "Oh, have you ever thought about like how your grip sucks?" I'm like, "Ah, no, not
right.
really."
Have you ever thought about like how you watch like look at the golf ball? That's something that gets me from time to time. Like, am I actually watching the golf ball or am I just like kind of zoning out and have this general idea of the ball? That's That's maybe one for you, Ben, next time with Coach.
100%. I'll bring that up to her. But no, like seriously, that in and of itself was like oh, okay, wow. Like I had a lot of low hanging fruit to work on. So we did that for the first like month, and then it's just like this incremental stuff, right? It's like she after 3 lessons, she gets a look at you of like, this is where we're trying to go, and we're gonna get there by these like little steps. And working through those little steps from, I would try to go in and get a checkup like once a month, like during the middle of golf season. It's kind of my goal, and it's always like working up to something bigger, even though which is great for me because I like to come away with like one thing to work on, and that's what we've done. And yeah, I started going to her I think at a 1.5 something like that handicap, like solid player, but not gonna compete for anything. And yeah, over the last 2.5 3 years, I've dropped that handicap and like stayed there consistently. And I think this year is going to be a big year for us. We got some stuff working. We got a full team that we're working with now, and working on some of the stuff that my body may have not been able to do in the past. That or in her mind, we're trying to get to the point where we have one bad shot around. It's like, okay, great, let's do it.
What's the end goal? Like, what do you practice for? What's the big carrot at the end of or let me phrase that differently. What's the phrase I'm looking for? What's the big
Motivation.
yeah, what's the big motivation for you to work so hard? Is there one thing that you're like, this is what I want to accomplish?
Not really, which I think is something I'm searching for. I'm very aware that is like kind of silly to just like, go work for nothing. But truly big, I like really just enjoy it. Like I really like it. It gives me a thrill. Like it's, my wife would tell you, like, once I get the opportunity to go play and I can like get it out of my head, my day just gets so much brighter. Like I am so much in a better headspace. I'm not thinking about it anymore. So when I don't, then it's like, you wish you wouldn't hit balls today. It's like, yeah, that is what I'm thinking about. So I know that's weird, but like that's just kind of how I like clear my headspace.
I don't think that's weird at all. I've even just over the last month or two, I put like a hitting net in my garage, and now it feels like the fucking telltale heart in my house where I'm just like, man, it's right down there. I could go hit balls right now if I wanted. I could go hit wedges for 12 minutes. I'm working
Yeah,
on this little takeaway thing. I'm working on this little release thing. I could just go do it right now if I wanted. And I know exactly what you mean. I feel very similarly, Ben.
yeah. So like that's where it's always been, but also big. There's like, there are some things that I would like to accomplish, and I think this year is going to be the first year that I'm like putting a big step forward in doing that. So like one thing I'd love to do, I want to win the Kansas Mid Am. That's like
Hell yeah.
number
See, I
one on my
love
big
that
board.
goal. Yeah, I like let's put that in writing somewhere where you see it every day.
Yeah, that, and then I want to qualify for the U.S. Mid Am. I'd love to play a USGA event. I think that's one of those things where it's like you're on your deathbed looking back what you accomplished. It's like, fuck, that's a big one. Like you were not just like a good golfer, like you were like one of the best amateur adult golfers in the country at that moment in time, and like that sounds amazing to me, to be able to check that off.
God, it gets me
Um,
fired up, Ben. I love that. I love that. It's so possible. It's so doable for
it
you.
is. It is, and then I think it is. I think it is. I need to get more consistent, but yeah, I think it's possible. I think my top end stuff is just as good, as a lot of those people out there that are playing in those events. And then the big one, which I've mentioned before, and I know Solly like laughed me out of the gym of, is I want to play in the Senior U.S. Open. How sick would that be?
Hell yeah.
Real
Um,
sick.
That's a
and
long-term goal too. What are you like
I
23?
yeah, no, I got 18 years left.
I used
But
to
I
have that
weirdly
dream, and now that I'm in my 40s, I'm realizing no,
It's just not realistic.
that's not gonna happen.
I
I
love
weirdly
that.
think that it's like gonna take a career amount of time to like get to the point where that's like even a possibility. So like I don't think that that's like a crazy thing to think about right now. Like I truly think I need to get some lickings out there in the competitive golf space before I can like be ready to come up to that moment and accomplish it.
Have you ever done US Open locals?
I haven't. No. I got really spooked. I caddied in a U.S. Open local, and my horse ended up getting the letter. So I like got really
Oh
spooked about that.
no. What happened?
Damn. Must have been the caddy.
Yeah, it just, we just had a tough back nine. Lost a couple balls and yeah.
Jesus. I didn't think anybody actually got the letter. I thought it was just
No,
a
I
threat.
thought that was like an urban myth.
No, it's very real.
For those that don't know, and I hate to air out your friend, but the USGA allegedly, the urban myth we're talking about is like if you played a USGA qualifier and you just put up a pretty unserious score, they send you a letter that's kind of like a, hey, please don't do this anymore. We're trying to be serious over here.
You're not welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless unless the
I think
letter
it's
said
10
anything.
over 10 over like the slope or something like that, or the rating of the course, and they're gonna send you the letter.
God, that's so sick. Yeah, I can see how that would be in the back of your head. That's
Yeah,
pretty that's a pretty seminal moment to see. You can't really forget about that one, open it up that letter.
right, right. But also like, don't be a wuss. Just go do it.
What
Whatever.
go back to Marine for a second. What you mentioned kind of going from a 1 point something to a plus 2 point something. What was the biggest change?
Ball striking. It's just all ball striking, man. And like having something to practice for. I think that like, yeah, it's just the going and like just like having your little alignment stick and just going and hitting balls like doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot. But like when you have an intent and there's something that you're working on, you have that one thing that you take away from that lesson and you go and like grind it for a month. um you come out the other side just like so much more equipped to like react on the golf course, which I think is super valuable. And it always drives me nuts. That's like the number one thing that I hate is these people that come up to the member guest and like, yeah, I just got a lesson last week. I'm ready to go. It's like, bro, that's not how this works. Like you need to go grind that thing for a month before you can even like think about that being useful. Her giving me like that motivation, giving me something to go and like be excited to go work on the range, really did it and allowed me to again just be more reactive on the golf course as opposed to like thinking about those swing thoughts, because we had something to practice for.
So when you play, we're in March, right? Golf season's just getting underway in Kansas City. Like when you go out and play, how do you define success? Is it like, hey, I'm trying to break par, or like what makes a good kind of everyday round for you?
That's such a good question. I wish I had a better answer for it. I'm not really one to like I'm very much a solo golfer. I'm probably like the worst member of a club ever because I just kind of like leave me alone. I'm doing my own thing.
It's the best.
And
Put the AirPods
it
in,
is, I think it is
go
too.
walk in, 2 hours and 45 minutes or something.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep. When I am out there playing, I'm not one to like I said, I don't not like itching for a match or anything like that or needing to gamble. Like I don't need that. I've never needed that. Like as a kid going out and playing, I always just want to beat like my friend. Like that's it, straight up. Like I no handicap. Like I want to beat you, and that's just kind of always been this thing where it's funny. I'll be playing with other people. I know exactly what everyone shot, like 100%. I've always known because I have that in the back of my mind. And again, I don't need their money for that. I just want to win. Um,
Just need their
so
soul.
I think that would define like what I'm looking for. But when I am playing solo, yeah, it's just like no doubles, hitting as many greens as possible, or like the things that I'm actively working on. Which I think the whole green hitting as many greens as possible for me is like you got to get off the tee successfully. If you get off the tee successfully, usually got a wedge in my hand if it's a par four. So like it's
Of
not really
course.
the approach that I'm looking for. It's the good drives.
What have you thought about playing on camera? Because I feel like it's a little different experience for you. Well, maybe not. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like Randy and I are, mid single digit handicaps. We've played a couple occasional good rounds. We play a lot of bad rounds. And Randy, not to speak for you, but it's a little bit
No,
of
we can
like
be
you.
comic relief.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't kill me. I'm already dead, man. What do
you're right.
you think I'm upset that I'm going to shoot 94? You think I don't think
Oh,
that's possible?
you don't think I've ever hit a shank before?
Yeah, yeah. Ben, you're probably I'm guessing you hold yourself to a much higher standard golf wise, and I'm curious how that matches up with the pressure of knowing that hundreds of thousands of people might watch you play.
It
Or have you
definitely
ever
like
thought about it in those terms?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
100%.
okay.
I mean, you know how much I'm in those analytics on YouTube.
Yeah.
Very aware. Definitely like weirdly, I feel like I've handled that like very, very well. which is surprising because I did not think that I would. But like I think I've shot so much that I think and edited so much that I think I like understand like what's needed, and it almost like takes me like out of this like grind mode. It's more of just like, try and be successful on camera. And then I just like kind of forget about the golf stuff. And then it just like has tended to work out. Club championship, a little bit different. I was very much like in the mode of playing golf. And at that point, I kind of forgot like what we were doing. I was definitely playing a tournament and not really, shooting a video, which, good, bad, or indifferent. That's kind of what happened. So yeah, it's definitely pressure packed. It's more pressure packed like night before for me. Like, oh God, just like don't throw up an egg. Like, come on. Like, this is the only reason why you're being recorded right now is because you're solid at golf. Like, just be decent tomorrow. Come on. So like that happens for sure. But in the moment, like it doesn't, I don't know. It's just kind of hanging out with you guys, which is, always a joy. So like it doesn't bother me too much in that regard.
Good to hear.
What's the most complete round of golf you've ever played? And
Yeah.
is it the best round of golf you've ever played?
I think it is. So nomination for new course against Solly.
What an
I don't think it was
ass
most.
kicking. God, what an ass kicking.
Yeah, I don't think it was like the most complete. I've definitely like shot better scores and like made more birdies and stuff like that. But like I wasn't really ever out of anything. Like everything was kind of clicking, which was good. Especially because that was like this time last year. So I wasn't expecting to like play well. So that was nice. But the most complete round of golf and the best round of golf I've ever played was at Sylvie's Valley Ranch while DJ and Solly were going bananas
I
against
forgot
each
about
other
that.
in the semis of Torresas, Oregon. So I truly like, I don't even think they watched me hit a single shot, but I made 8 birdies and shot 6 under that round. Um, and didn't miss a shot all day. Like I don't remember where those bogeys came from,
And
but
just to
like,
be clear, he's filming as he's playing this round. So like we used to do this a lot. We don't really do this anymore because it's fucking hard to do. But Ben would like he'd hit his shot. He was always hitting last into all the greens. So we'd all tee off. Ben would jump over, he'd film me hitting, he'd jump over, he'd film Solly hitting, he'd jump over, he'd hit his own ball, and then we'd get up to the green, and then he'd like try to film us and hit his shots in between. And like that's the situation that he's describing here.
yeah, and I think I had like 2 eagles in the first 5 holes or something. It was, maybe it wasn't 8 birdies. It was like 8 under with 2 eagles or something like that.
What?
Yeah, and I specifically remember on that 18th green, you guys had just had like this, DJ comes from behind, this crazy moment, going to extras. They both zip off in their cart, and I'm just like left there with with a 12-footer by myself for, to shoot 6 under on this course, career low, bury it, fist pump to nobody, and then get my stuff and like, all right, we're going to this playoff thing. So yeah, that one sticks out as my most complete round.
Well, there you go. I never knew you even made that putt. Congratulations, man. Belated congrats for me. Uh, well, didn't the first round of that trip, didn't you like weren't you like 8 under through 11 or something at
Yeah,
that golf
yeah,
course
yeah.
with Neil? Were you there too,
Yeah,
Randy, or
Mad
was that
Max, Mad Max golf course,
Oh, no, that was in Portland, right? I
Portland.
was with Solly that
That's
day.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah,
That was like
that
crazy low.
first time I'd ever met you guys. Yeah, that was a Wildwood.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't complete because I absolutely shit the bed coming down the end, big.
Neil just grabs the camera and starts flipping around at bed. He's like, "Yo, we're
Yeah,
filming you
that's
now,
right.
man. This is gonna be great." Oh,
Yeah, but that was a memorable one. People still bring that up, which is very kind of them. But yeah, I just remember being like massively uncomfortable on like the 14th tee, like 7 deep. Just like I don't even know if I had shot under par like more than once or twice at that point. And yeah, we're on 59 watch, and it's just like, all right. Um, yeah, promptly snapped one out of bounds. So
have you
what are you
gotten
gonna
more
do?
comfortable being under par, or is it still
Oh
a
yeah,
thing for you?
no, way more comfortable. I mean, that being said, I didn't shoot under par at all last year.
Not one?
But
That's
no, not one.
shocking.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I shot under par. I didn't shoot in the 60s
Gotcha.
last year. But yeah, no, 100% gotten so much more comfortable, especially at golf courses like where I can do it. Thinking Dobson Ranch, thinking
For sure. Hey, man.
Sweetens, places like that where it's like,
Easy.
oh no, like every hole, like I'm going to try to birdie this hole. gotten a lot more comfy there.
Well, we've done this with the other guys, and it's always kind of a fun one to start to drill in on what kind of golf courses you like. But we've done
Mhm.
this 10-round split game, which is something
Mm.
we always like to do post round, having a couple beers, and especially if you've played two rounds on that trip or 2 rounds in that day or whatever. What's your 10-round split between the two? So big. Why don't you throw one out? I'll throw one out, and we'll just kind of see. And Ben, you also have a distinction here of I don't even think these are necessarily going to be all courses that you've played. You know,
100%.
you
Yeah,
have
that's
like
my
one of the best resumes going here of someone who intimately knows these golf courses but has never played them.
yeah, that's my entire platform. Guy that's been around the world the most, just truly looking at golf courses and intimately getting to know them, but not having played. So yeah, please hit me.
All right, I'll start here. I think these are two that you have played. It's always a fun topic of conversation. Bandon Dunes and Pacific Dunes.
Ooh, 8-2 Bandon.
Okay, you're on the right side.
Right
I
side of
like that.
history. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I
Friendly.
truly I'm not interested in pack.
That's
I
interesting.
don't
I
know.
I
I don't
was
know what to
told for
tell you.
for low handicaps, it's totally
I
fun
know.
and great and everything's
I thought it was
fantastic.
going to be flipped.
That's
Yeah.
interesting, huh? Interesting how that works. Well, let's just stay there, Old Mac and Bandon Trails.
You know what? I Old Mac has been a massive grower for me.
It rules,
Um,
man. It's awesome.
You
yeah,
guys were saying that after you got back last year.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it would be 6-4 trails. The only thing about Mac is like it's really freaking hard.
Yeah,
I
it is.
didn't never give it that much credit from like the difficulty perspective, but I think it's like rated the hardest out there. And yeah, I just find it very difficult. But like I do like that challenge as well.
All right, I've never played golf in Nebraska. I feel like you have a decent amount. So I was wondering about two publics there, Landman and Wild Horse.
Ooh, 6-4 Wild Horse.
Okay.
Yeah. No offense, like truly Landman is awesome. It's just like it's an experience, right? It's one of those things where, you can't have too many sweets.
Ben, we had oh God, I kind of feel like we want to tell the whole story of this round, but we had a couple of real memorable trips to Scotland over the last couple of years. So I'll throw out
Mhm.
Carnoustie and the new
Mm.
course.
Oh, God, that's tough. It's like both memorable courses for me. One not so great memories, one awesome memory. But dude, I don't know. Like I feel like the group, the NLU group, is like not a massive Carnoustie
Oh,
fan.
it's so
I
sick.
freaking loved
It's
it.
so sick.
Loved it, loved it, loved it.
So I
Um,
played it on a very benign day, gorgeous day, played well. I'm like, oh my God, I love Carnoustie. But I know next time I play it and the weather's bad, I'll be like, oh God, get me off of this.
yeah. I'm probably going to go 6-4 Carnasty. Pro shop or hotel and all. I'll take it.
Can you tell the story of that round we had? It was who? Me, you, and Jamie Kennedy, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which was just an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Great memories. I still remember DG hitting that shot out of that empty creek. That was incredible. I didn't know how you were going to get the ball out of it, and you hit it onto the green. It was very, very sick. Yeah, just like super windy day. You know, uh,
Proper test.
I was proper. Yeah, I don't think we were playing up a little bit, but like not crazy. I just remember the first hole. It's like 410 on the scorecard, but I think we all went like driver lumber short of the green. And yeah, I ended up playing like so good, like super good. I think I made double in the first hole and then was one under from there to the 16th hole. Is that correct, D?
Yeah,
Just
and
16 the
I just
long par
remember
three?
I remember you kinda calling your shot as just like, "Man, I've got a legitimate chance to break par here on a really
Yeah.
hard day, on a really great golf course, like, let's fucking go." And we
Yeah.
step up to the 16th tee, and then
Yes.
which for those that haven't been, what is it, 230? Something like
It's
that?
long.
Long, long, long par 3. Ben hits the flag,
Yeah.
which is then just like, "Deal, we're gonna do this." 3 putts from what I remember after that,
Oh,
and then we
a horrible three putt too, man. I mean, like, yeah, if you hit the flag, obviously it's not that far away. But I just had to like it's just a little downhiller. I just had to get it there and just like missed a 2.5 footer.
We
Horrific.
get to 17, for those that don't know it. It's got the meandering burn. So basically the burn cuts right across the fairway, but it kind of bends towards the green, and then eventually bends back away from the green, meaning like there's a big chunk of fairway on kind of the right hand side that where you can fit a much longer shot off the tee. And then if you're on towards the left side of the fairway, you have much less space. And Ben steps up and just hits that driving iron, I believe, just absolutely
Yep.
flush hammers it, and just
Spin it,
so
just total
obviously
twirl.
directly into the burn as soon as he hits it. And he just, I don't know if he was doing the math wrong or what, but just as soon as it left the club face, I was like, oh my god, that's fucking dead, man. What are you doing? That's so dead. So then now things are moving quickly. Jamie Kennedy, one of my favorite people in golf, just the exact wrong thing to say at that time. Just like, hey, why don't we play 18 from all the way back? Let's go all the way to the
Oh
back,
God,
the Open
no,
Championship
yeah.
tee, which I loved. I had a great time and hit it on the green and hit a great shot in there. Ben hooks it out of bounds off the 18th tee.
Yeah, I ended up finishing DNF. So like tough. Yeah,
Oh,
that was a tough, that good, great memory of the first 16 holes, and then just our shit 15 and a half holes, and then it just all fall apart. But loved the golf course. Fantastic place. Can't wait to go back.
all right. Well, we've rounded out all of these episodes the same way. Tron's was very electric. It has gotten even more electric. I think all the text threads I've been on with him and other members at courses that he's declared were top 3 courses in the world that didn't even make his list. It's just great stuff. So what we've done is, Ben, just straight up 10 favorite golf courses in the world, 10 to 1. What do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think all these kind of like fall in different buckets. Obviously, some are heart picks, and some are like actually, how I feel about the golf course. So number 10, I'm going with the horse course at the Prairie Club. Talked about it earlier. Golf course changed my life. So I will always be, it's the first like fun place in golf I've ever played. And it still sticks with me today as like being a unique spot. I think that the biggest benefit there is, I love a lot of the other par 3 courses at different resorts. Shout out to Sand Valley, got a hole in one there. Great memories there as well.
First swing of the
But the
day,
horse,
right? Wasn't it? Didn't you just
yeah, first swing of the trip.
blow out the O-ring? Just the first
Yeah,
swing of the day?
yep. I still got my little shovel somewhere around here, so that was fun. But yeah, the horse course is just super fun because like there's no fee to play if you're like on property. It's just like go nuts. And that like has just always stuck with me as like such a good concept, and brilliantly designed holes, and just a big field place to play and have a good time. So that one's number 10 for me. Number 9 is Bannon Trails. I was really stuck between dunes and trails on this one. I love Dunes so much. I've said many times that Dunes is my number 1 at that resort. So in the world of TC, this is it's not the best course at the resort, but it's my favorite course of them. So Bandon Trails, I love that place. I think you'll start to see a trend here pretty soon as to why I selected Bandon Trails. Number 8, actually got to experience this one with Big Nasty here, Philly Cricket. I don't know why that one sticks with me. I've seen it one time, and it's just one of those places that
God, it
I
was
just
playing hard that day. That's all I
it was.
remember.
It was, but it was like everything that I dream about when I go play courses that I think have like a ton of potential. I'm just kind of an architecture person where I just like always am looking for like, oh man, if they would just take that tree down, like, it'd be so sick. I got to be so annoying at my club because I do that every time we play. But like Philly felt like one of those places where they did it. Like they made all of those changes and expressed it to its best ability, and that just sits really well with me. Just love that place. Very memorable.
Fully realized.
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
so
Great.
much, God, I got so many blind spots in Philly. That's a lifetime achievement that needs to be unlocked. It's just a big long Philly trip at some point. Lots
Yeah.
to
It's
do
just the
there.
golf is
Hit
so
us
hard.
up, listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw out mine's Long Island. Hang the
Ideally,
sign,
Randy
open for
Randy said offline,
business.
ideally if you have a jet you could send for him, that would be ideal. But don't want to put anybody out.
No pressure.
Yeah. Number 7, and I always feel weird about saying this, but I truly, truly mean it. Brough Creek National.
I was wondering, it's got to be on your list. You got to be your own biggest fan,
Yeah,
you
we
know?
thought it hit the board.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't know. I just again like memories that I've had out there, and like I thought like some of the golf holes were like legitimately great
What
and
was your
just very
favorite one?
compelling. I really liked the one up the hill, number
So sick.
6, the Big Redan. Blind shot, kind of cool.
Number,
So yeah,
number
I don't know.
one's great. Number 3's awesome. There's so many good ones.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love that. I love it, and just like the memories and just the feeling of like, we did own the golf course, but everyone that went out there like got that same feeling, like, oh, this is mine for the day. This is incredible, and I just think that that's unmatched in many places. So I have to have that one on the board. Number 6 for me is Mammoth Dunes at Sand Valley. So this one very well could be because I played like extremely freaking well there every time. Why it's got on my board, but I always find that one is like I always think about going on these golf trips with my dad, and he's getting more and more into golf and like wants to play. And every time I think like, oh, we could go to Bandon, or maybe we could go to Scotland. It's like, no, you got to bring him to Mammoth freaking Dunes, and we're gonna go have so much fun, and he's gonna have a great time. He's gonna shoot a career low, and I'm gonna like be super engaged, and it's like such a good walk too. There's just so much about it that I absolutely love. Solly said it best after that trip of like, man, that should be like the standard of, and you should have to go like far and wide to go find difficult golf courses.
Yeah.
And I feel really, really strongly that he's damn right in that. Now, don't get me wrong. We don't have, if we're worried about land usage in golf courses, I don't know if, 150-yard wide fairways makes a ton of sense, but I think it's just a very, very fun, engaging place to play golf and have a lot of fun with friends. And that was my first time going on a friend's golf trip. My friend Matt Bruce and Corbin to Mammoth, and got to see that. And we all kind of like, we had tee times at some other courses in the area, and we're like, no, we're going back out to play Mammoth again. Like that was so good. So again, some memories in there, but I truly love it.
It's so fun, man. And I'm really pumped for the next time you go to Sand Valley, because you're going to feel the same way about Sedge, I think. Sedge is so fucking good. It's really, really, really fun. And Randy, I think you love both of those.
Yeah, I had
just
never
as
been
much.
up to Sand Valley at all.
I saw something on your calendar late in the year, Mr. Big. Is that going to potentially happen?
Maybe trying, efforting.
It's really good, and it's getting to the point now
It might be in Long Island. I don't know.
It's busy, man. It's getting to the point now too where I'm talking to some friends just around the state that are, you're booking so far in advance. I mean, they've never been more popular. That is for sure. And the Mammoth thing is interesting too, because it's almost like so many people have said what you just said, Ben, which is like, before you get there, like, oh man, you're gonna shoot your career low on Mammoth. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And that people almost just like freak out, like they psych
Right.
themselves out, which is kind of a
Right.
sick little dynamic too, like, oh, it's so easy. Like, really? Fuck, I just shot like 86, man. Like, oh. So that's kind of a fun little wrinkle too, if you've got a
Yeah, it's you
Sand
still
Valley
gotta,
trip coming up.
elevate the ball and not go in those
Yeah.
crazy bunkers that they got.
Where are we at? Top 5?
Yeah, top 5. So, DJ, I'm coming to you, my friend. Aaron Hills, number 5.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how much better it gets than Aaron Hills. Straight up. I just think it's freaking phenomenal. I'd love to come up like in the fall and play it when it's like super fast.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But I feel like when we played it in like pretty tough conditions. I know that the gunch wasn't super grown up, and I thought it still played just like magnificently.
When you get
And
the wind plus the hay is a proper test, plus the speed, like you said, it's like,
yeah.
it's really fun, man. And it's just, it's so varied. There's so many different holes out there that you look forward to throughout the whole round, like there's 6, 7, 8 shots that you just can't wait to hit. And then,
and you can't find anywhere else either. Like they're
right.
truly unique.
Yeah. And the other thing about it too is like post round kind of setting back there as the sun's going down and the fescue rescues are flowing. I mean, it's great, man. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's my number 5.
Yeah. No, it is good. It is good. Great sunset, that back patio. Good place.
Okay, number 4, in my opinion, the most underrated golf course in the country, potentially the world, maybe even the galaxy, Omaha Country Club.
Sure.
Mm.
I've spent a ton of time there. Every time I go, I feel like I uncover something a little bit different. Not only fantastic memories, but like truly like Augusta level of perfect conditioning, which is not, not truly, not like the only thing that I care about. But man, it's freaking nice when you get to experience it. And it's just, yeah, it's a Maxwell at its heart, and it's, again, one of those like realized golf courses that really gets me going. Andrew Green went in there and did some incredible work, hosted the U.S. Senior Open, and fingers crossed, there's going to get some ladies out there. I think it would be absolutely magnificent for that. Um, True test. Greens are super fast. It's just one of those places where like tee to green, it's not going to beat you up, but boy, you get around those greens, it's like everything you could ever ask for and a hell of a lot more. So I just think it's a fantastic place. If you go out there and shoot a good one, you're a certified dog. All right, number 3, the old. Gotta go to the
Sure.
old. And yeah, it's really difficult to
The home of
express like
G.
exactly.
The
Uh,
old.
how that one makes you feel.
Wh
Um,
what was your
I
first
spent
have you played there once or more than once?
yeah, one
Yeah.
time, and you guys were with me in spirit out there.
We were with you
Um,
literally the last couple holes.
Last couple holes, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so only played it one time, but I think I've
What were
spent.
the circumstances? Well, how'd you get on? What was the day like?
Oh man, I just like super lucky. I don't think it's like ever gonna happen again, but we had rolled in for a video shoot for the Walker Cup. We were, day early or something like that. Just got off the plane, and I think Randy, I think you went up to the stand and was just like, "Hey, do you got any
Yeah, that's
openings?"
right.
Very passively, and they're like, "Yeah, we got one." And you guys came out and very kind of you and said, "Hey, you should go do it." So I did. Played with a couple Australians and this other dude I can't quite remember, and went and played. And a good day, like rained a little bit, it's a little bit windy, and just had so much fun. I had just like injured my shoulder, so like that was tough
Forgot about that.
getting off the first couple holes, but then once we started running, it ended up being a great day. And yeah, you guys got some video of me out there, so like I'll always have that to lean on. And it's just so cool. And then we ended up spending like 7 days just like on the golf course with the Walker Cup team.
Yeah.
So getting to do that was fantastic. And then was just there again recently for the reverse shoot, and spent a couple Sundays out there just kind of walking. So I feel like I know it like so freaking good for having to only play it, the one time. But it's like, yeah, it's probably in the top 3 or 4 golf courses like I've been on and hung out on the most. And it just gets more and more exciting every time. Like seeing people play it, man, it's just like it's it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's just not that many courses you can see. You have so many, like such a big body of memories of seeing very average people play and seeing the best players of all time
Yeah.
play at the same time. It's like you can see a lot of that on TV maybe, but you just don't get to do that in person at very many places, and it's just the best.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, brings us to number 2. I feel pretty strongly about this one, not only because it's local to me, but I truly think it's that good. Prairie Dunes is my number 2. I think I'm just like a Maxwell junkie. So ANGC, if you're listening, holler at your boy. I haven't checked that one off, but it's just so freaking good. It's like the truest championship golf course, that I've had the opportunity to be on multiple times. Outside the old. So it's all weather dependent. If there's no wind, it's generally fairly benign. If there is wind, it's going to be a freaking monster. So it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those places I just can't get over it. The shots are fantastic. It's fully fleshed out. It's so good. The only thing is that the grasses there aren't quite right. We're just in a weird spot in the country where cold season grasses are going to get burnt and warm season grasses are going to die in the winter. So they've kind of got a little bit of a mix going on. I think if there was a way to get that place rolling firm and fast all the time, I think it would, climb even higher in the rankings. I truly feel that way.
Man, I'm trying to predict number one. I had this slated in my head as
I know, I knew
Number
Prairie
1.
Dunes was gonna be high. I figured Omaha. I mean, we already got the old out of the way.
Oh.
I think you guys could get there. I think you could get there.
I mean, he was speaking very
is it one
glowingly
you've
about
played?
Carnoustie, but I don't know if he could put that over the old.
It's
Yeah,
one
I've
you've
played it.
played.
Once
It's
or more
not
than once?
Carnoustie. I've played it once, but again spent a lot of time out there.
Huh. In America or not in America?
Not in America.
Mm.
Mm.
In Scotland?
Nope.
Oh, duh, Roe Melbourne.
Composite. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Of course. Of course.
Yep.
Gotta be.
Yeah. Got the opportunity to play the like actual composite the day after the
I
Asia
was
Pacific
thinking
Amateur.
tourist sauce.
Yeah.
That's right. You and Solly went down for the Asia Pacific. Ah,
Yeah, so with all the
the
signs out
place
there, like
rules. You know,
super duper tipped out tournament conditions, like oh, I played terrible, but like it was just like I didn't play terrible. I played pretty good, but that place is so freaking hard that it exposed you. But yeah, it's like truly like if I'm gonna get on a simulator, like I'm gonna go play the Melbourne Composite. It's like incredible. I don't know. I just can't get enough of it. Every single shot, every single hole is more than what you could ask for. I think it's the best golf course in the world. You know, that's my thought. I don't know. I just don't know how you could get a better golf course. Straight up.
I think that's
I truthfully don't
I
either.
know. It's a pretty
I mean, I haven't played them all, but yeah.
it's a pretty fair argument to make, Ben. I don't think you're gonna get a lot of flack for that one. That's a good list. That's a good list. Some variety, a couple surprises, a couple classics. I think that's great. Big, you got anything else? Otherwise, we're gonna get the hell out of here.
Ben, real quick, favorite golfer of all time?
Cat, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
I know that's like super stock, super boring. He was my MJ. That's just what it's always been. And my least favorite golfer, anyone that beat Cat. So Y.E. Yang, I got you, dog.
The gripper at Fiore. I'm looking at
Yep.
you. All right, Ben. Well, thanks for all the insight, man. A bunch of stuff I didn't even know about you, and it's fun to hear you kind of unpack it all. So thanks for the time and truly for all you do online. It's great. It's
No,
great having you. I can't believe it's been
Yeah,
5 years, man. That's nuts.
I
I know
know.
that is nuts. Hey, get in a USGA event,
Yeah.
go get some reps, and go win the Kansas Mid-Am. All right.
Yeah, heard you. Doing it for you.
Well, thank you very much to Ben. Thanks to our friends at Titleist and FootJoy. Thank you to our friends in the Nest, of course, and of course, thank you to Big Randy. And we'll catch everybody next time. Cheers.
Crack on.